You're listening to Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast.
When your heart is aching and your world is shaking, don't give up. No, don't give up.
Hello and welcome to Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast. I'm your host, Jana Short, and today I'm here with Brittinie Wick. Brittinie is a health and fitness coach that empowers all women through fitness and nutrition to gain confidence, lose weight, and celebrate the feeling of strong and sexy. Brittinie is doing a 4-part series of Wicked into Shape. And this part of this series, we just did Turning Your Why into a Passion-Driven Purpose. So if you missed it, go back and get it. But right now we're going to do Now's Not the Time to Give Up. Brittinie, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So I can't wait to hear it because when we talked a little bit earlier, I know like there are times where you have a bad week, a bad day, a bad week, and you're like, I'm just done. But you're right, that's not the time to give up. So I can't wait to hear everything you have to tell us.
Yeah, so, everyone has those New Year's resolutions, and I think research statistics show that like 80% of people they've given up their New Year's resolutions by mid-February. And there's so many reasons, obviously, that goes into it. And so in my last podcast, we talked about how, your goals are set, and you start implementing them, but then, time passes and you start losing that motivation, and then that procrastination comes in. And just like you said, sometimes you have like a bad day, bad week, and then before you know it, those goals are back in that back burner. And, as a health and fitness coach, a lot of my clients, I think, often signing up for that program or hiring a trainer, coach is the solution to all of our health and fitness struggles. And while both are obviously wonderful tools, so definitely hire me to help you reach your goals, but you still have to do the work, right? Like I could give you all the tools in the world, but unless you implement it, it's not going to do anything for you. And so you still have to prepare, those healthy meals, even when you're busy, or go for the walk or run, even when it's cold outside, or do the push-ups while your family watches TV. I'm currently prepping for a competition, and my grandparents were in town, and I had to do my cardio, and it was raining, and I waited till I went to go to bed. And I was so exhausted. It's raining. And for those who enjoy running in the rain, I don't know how you do it, but I hated it. I hated every single second of it while I was doing it, but I got it done because I had my goals like in the forefront of, what I wanted to do. And, you could find yourself blaming the diet, or you're blaming the coach or other external circumstances for your failures. Just like, like I said, my grandparents were in town. I could have easily said, oh, my grandparents are in town. I'll push off my cardio. I don't have to eat healthy. But we're not taking responsibility to figure that out on our own. Like, just like we cannot rely on other people or things to make us happy, like we can't rely on other people to reach those goals for us. Like I said, like we have to put in that work, and we got to stop looking for those quick fixes and just, again, put in that hard work. So the way that we act and react, each and every day creates, those behavior patterns, those habits, and our actions, become our behaviors, and our behaviors become our patterns and our habits. And we develop and cultivate, both consciously and unconsciously, like thousands and thousands of behavior patterns every day, right? So many are beneficial towards our growth, our relationships, our goals, but we also create and develop those negative behavior patterns. And this is where procrastination comes in, the losing motivation when we become frustrated, and cutting corners and quitting when we don't see results. As a coach, that's probably the one that I see the most of, is if people don't see a result right away, they just quit. And, last week, I actually, on my Instagram, I talked about how weight loss it's not a linear process. Like there's some weeks you may not lose anything, or you might go up a little bit. It's gonna zigzag a little, but this is, all very common negative behaviors. And each time that we exhibit these behaviors, our brain is trained to continue to react the same each way, or the same way each time. And in fact, one of the most common reasons that people fail to grow or achieve new goals is the inability to change a negative behavior pattern. And so what do you do when you're ready to crush a goal that you've struggled with in the past? And again, as a health and fitness coach, it's the weight loss. For a lot of people, they struggle with it. They don't see the results. Then they go back to where they were in the beginning. So here's just a couple of my tips. So obviously, just like my last podcast talking about goal setting, I'm huge on goal setting. Write down your goal, but formulate a plan. So clearly identify. So using that SMART system, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time measurable. And just outline the exact actions you need to get there. All right, what do I need to do to lose weight? Okay, I'm going to work out 3 to 4 times, for an hour, or do cardio, or do yoga, or I got to eat healthy and go grocery shopping this day. Specifically outline those exact actions you need to get to your weight loss goals or to your health and fitness goals. And while you're doing that, identify your negative behaviors. So what stands in your way from reaching those goals? What has stopped you before? Are you ready to change that? Because a lot of it is mentality. You have to be ready. I've been doing competitions for a while, and I was when I wasn't mentally ready to do it, I self-sabotaged so much, and I horribly regret that. But you have to identify those negative behaviors, then identify what triggers those behaviors, and then replace it with a positive reinforcement behavior. So once you identify what triggers your negative behavior, you could consciously, plan to react to that trigger in a new and different way. So for instance, okay, I have a sweet tooth. Everyone in the world knows this. I post this all the time. So when I have sugar cravings, instead of indulging in the Sour Patch that I would love to just indulge in, I know my trigger, which is going to be Sour Patch Kids, and then go to something that's a little bit healthier, like fruit that has that natural sugar, or, tea, like herbal tea, or something that has stevia in it, so it has that natural sweetener. So once you identify that, you can, like I said, you could replace that behavior in a new and different way, and then do the work of continuously noticing that trigger in real time, and then being able to replace it again and again and again, and it's going to develop those healthy habits and keep you progressing. I just finished a book, The Atomic Habits by James Clear. I strongly suggest that with anyone who wants to, improve their goals and implement and change their habits, because he does talk about this. And, if you make a big enough goal, a goal worth achieving, it is likely going to take time. You're not going to lose 10 pounds in 3 days. All right. Like I said, weight loss, the journey is not linear. I know it sucks. I wish it was true, but it's going to take time, and you're probably going to get discouraged along the way. The first 9 weeks of my competition prep this year, I was not losing the weight that I thought I needed to. And I could have easily just gave up, but progress over time, that compound effect, is going to be a game changer in achieving those goals. And don't get me wrong, it's hard to maintain, motivation when we're not seeing results right away. And it's hard to stick to that plan when we feel discouraged. And here's another book, if for reference, is Emotional Intelligence. And I definitely suggest a lot of managers and leaders to read this book, or at least listen to it, Emotional Intelligence but it states that 15% of success can be attributed to knowledge and education. That's 15%. So the other 85%, that's from dedication, your attitude, perseverance, your vision. So I think in order to stay motivated and not to give up during a challenging journey towards success, we must take the time to truly appreciate the journey. I always say, like, just trust the process, enjoy the journey, and celebrate the hard work along the way. So appreciate the daily choices you're making, appreciate the new habits that you're forming, recognize the sacrifices that you are making. Don't get me wrong. I wish every time I go run around my neighborhood, I'm always seeing the Domino's, the delivery guy come in, and I'm like, oh my God, what I would do for some pizza right now. But, recognize, yeah, sometimes you do have to give up certain things to achieve those goals, and recognize those sacrifices, and just celebrate the hardworking, dedicated person that you're becoming. Because each day you're just getting better. You're getting one step closer to those goals. And if you can't do these things now, you'll always be, chasing a new goal, or be living in fear of losing that goal. So, my biggest thing is just don't wait until you reach a goal to act like the person who reaches that goal. Like, start doing that now. Like, you'll be achieving the goal easy, like, as it's like easy to step into. And you might not notice the outcome of the goal becomes less important, because you're appreciating and you're celebrating yourself in like a whole new wonderful way as you're going through this journey. So just take the time to like celebrate the progress, celebrate your decisions, and just keep going.
That part really resonated with me, because a woman my age has a little bit more trouble losing weight. I don't know what it is, but if we start losing weight rapidly, we're probably sick. And so, that's a red flag. But it's harder for us to lose weight. And I feel like sometimes, like, it's just not going to happen. At a certain point, who cares? But you're absolutely right, because when I just focus on doing what I'm supposed to do, the goal doesn't become as important anymore, because what I realize is, dang, I feel better. Wow, I'm walking further. I'm not feeling winded. My joints aren't starting to ache, right? So after a while, the goal isn't as important as the results that I'm seeing on the day to day. So those little celebrations, those little wins, girls, take them. Just take them wherever you can find them. You earned them.
Absolutely, 100% agree. It's because, like I said, it doesn't become like the goal ends up becoming a habit. Like, you're gonna start developing those habits, and before you know it, like that 10 pounds, 20 pounds, or how many pounds or inches, it doesn't even necessarily have to be pounds, but like whatever your goal is, like before you know it, you're there, and you're like, oh wow, like, okay. And it just becomes that natural everyday thing for you.
Well, right now I'm dealing with the fatal 20. And it's not going to kill me, but it kills me in my head that it just came here and decided to park its little butt. And I'm trying to push it on out. So I know it's going to happen. But every time I seems like I see a little forward movement, it jumps backwards. So for all of you who are thinking like that happens to me, so I quit. Well, I'm telling you, I'm not quitting. That 20 will be gone. I know that we're going to probably be seeing each other face to face in June. And that 20, I will not be packing its butt up and taking it with me.
And like, I'll keep reiterating it too. It's like weight loss is not a linear process. Like I said, like my first 9 weeks of my competition prep, I was maybe losing half a pound to a pound a week, despite doing everything perfect. Like my workouts, my diet, like my sleep, my stress, like everything was on point. And yeah, it was like starting to get discouraging, because it was like, why am I not losing more than I should be? And there's a lot of things that do contribute to like your weight going back up and back down, like women's cycles, and I talked about that last week, and like stress. And because anytime like a client comes to me, they're like, oh my God, like I had a cheat meal and I gained like 5 pounds. I was like, first off, let's rewind. I'm pretty sure you didn't eat like 10,000 calories, so relax. Like, it's probably your sodium intake. How's your stress management? Or like, how's your sleep? Like, if I notice that I got even an hour of sleep less than I normally do, like, I hold on to water. So my weight's going to be different. So like I said, just don't ever get discouraged because there's so many things that goes into that journey.
I just read an article that said that even the season change and the time difference can affect how your body handles losing weight or holding on to weight, which was really an eye-opener for me. So I was telling everyone, it's the season. It's my bear season. I can't wait. So for me, I think that you were absolutely right and hit something right on the head, because I used to prep my food all the time. It was Sundays. Sundays, we went shopping for fresh fruits and vegetables. We would have everything chopped up in Ziploc baggies with markers on it, like what we were using them for. And I was prepped. I was ready to go. But here's what happened. I got busy and I stopped prepping. And now I eat or drink a smoothie in the morning, and then I get busy and hours go by and I forget until I'm hungry again. And I go in there, and the first place I walk into, we have a big walk-in pantry. It is like the size of a small room. And I go in there because it's easy, it's already made, and not one thing in there is good for me. But there's crackers, right? I try to get healthy chips. I get the popcorn chips, but still not very useful calories. And I go in there and I grab nuts. By the way, nuts are delicious, and they can be so full of calories, because my favorites are the cashews. And let me tell you, a little handful of cashews it's good for you, but it's a lot of calories. So I think prepping food for me, getting back in that habit, could be like a game changer, that one little teeny change, so that when I'm hungry, I got something prepped in the refrigerator. It's easy, it's there, it's waiting for me. I think that is a really great tip. What are some of the other great tips we can use?
Oh yeah, that's actually like a big one that I tell my clients to do is I have them in all my programs, like the meal prep on Sunday for the week. So I give them the grocery list. So that's something that you do too, is write down what you want to eat for the week, write down on the grocery list. So one, it saves you time. And then, so when you go into the grocery store, you're not wandering around. And like, I went to the grocery store yesterday, and again, being on this prep, I've been, again, craving sugar. So I went and I stood in front of the Oreos, and I was like, oh my God, look at all these delicious Oreos. But if you have a grocery list, I obviously didn't buy any Oreos, even though I really wanted to. But if you have that grocery list, like, you're not wandering through the aisles and being like, oh, you know what, this sounds good, and then popping it in your cart, or something like that. And even if you're not on a program, I was just telling a client today who just finished my 4-week one, I was like, take the recipes I gave you, and you and your husband choose meals that you want to do throughout the week. So you already have like planned meals that you're like, okay, you know what, we're going to eat this on this day. And that way I could enjoy, a cheat meal on, Tuesday or Thursday instead. So like, plan out your cheat meals and plan out your meals, because being prepared is going to set you up for success.
So one of the other bad habits I have is exercise. I hate exercising. So I use the excuse, now I'm going to be 60, and 60-year-olds don't exercise, but any kind of movement, right, would be good for me. But I'm trying to categorize all movement, walking, stretching, everything into exercise, and saying I'm too old for that. And the truth of the matter is, you're never too old to get your butt moving. So what are some great habits? Like, I hate it. The only way I could ever work out is hiring an accountability coach, basically. Like somebody that I paid, so I'm going to show up because I'm not losing that money. And I know I'm stuck there for an hour, and it's their babysitter, basically. And I had to hire a very expensive babysitter, but I showed up because, oh my gosh, what will they think if I don't show up? I'm a mindset coach. That will look really bad on me, but I too have challenges.
Yes, everyone does. So like, I mean, even coaches need coaches.
Oh, 100%. There's a village around me.
Oh yeah, like you honestly think I'm doing this competition prep by myself? Heck no. Yeah, you're right. I hired someone because I know that if I have to send my progress photos Like there's something about that accountability and, just having it on the, schedule, like, oh God, now I got to make sure, everything's good, because what's he going to say? Like, you almost don't want to disappoint that person either.
That's very true.
Yeah. And like, it's like, I always like, regardless of what your goal is, business coach, fitness coach, or, personal chef. I don't know if people can afford that, but I mean, it's just like, just having someone to hold you accountable is a huge game changer. And then as far as like working out, as long as you're moving or even putting it in the schedule, that helps out a lot too. Cause like, I know life could get in the way. And like I said, my grandparents were here, so I had to like schedule out, and I haven't seen them in forever. So for me, like, I had to schedule it out. Like, I'm not going to work out when I haven't seen my grandparents and they're in town. So like, take a look at your schedule and be like, okay, you know what? I could go for a walk, or I could do a meditation, or, grab a friend and go try different classes. And as, I think a lot of the gyms are slowly opening up now.
We are in California, thank goodness. Especially they're doing a lot outdoors because it's always so beautiful here. And I'd rather be outdoors than in a smelly gym anyway.
I'm the opposite. I'd rather have a smelly ass gym.
I don't know what it is, but the minute I walk in a gym, my nose starts to burn, and I might be allergic.
Well, just do it outside. I mean, it doesn't even have to. You just try different classes. Like, you never know what you might stumble upon that you actually truly enjoy. Like, my mother-in-law loves Zumba. Like, she loves it. And because she told me, she's like, it doesn't feel like working out. Like, but she's getting her movement in. She's, like, working out, getting that movement in, and she loves it. So just try different things, because you never know what you're going to stumble upon that's going to hold you accountable. And then you could take someone, or just implement it into that routine.
At the beginning of this talk, you talked about like more like visualizing your goals and your dreams and seeing yourself there and like creating that beautiful roadmap to it. And I do remember the one time I exercised faithfully, kind of like you've created this roadmap to this competition you're doing. After I was sick, very shortly after I was sick, and I started getting well, my daughter asked me to run a Ragnar race. And for any of you who don't know what that is, it's a lot. So for a girl who's never run, it was a 2-day, 200-mile relay race, and 26 miles of those were mine. Now, I didn't have to do the whole 26 miles at once. It was 3 legs. So it was like 8 miles, 13 miles, whatever totaled up to 26 miles. You didn't sleep. You were in a car, a van, so you couldn't even warm up your muscles, right? You're crunching the car, pushing people out, grabbing them in, pushing them out, 2 days. So we went from all down the coast of California, basically 200 miles of the coast of California. And I got myself in shape to do that. I thought I was in really good shape until I actually got in the middle of it, and I realized I should have worked a little harder. But I was really focused. I went out every day and I ran. I did the run walk, getting myself to go further distances. And so I had a vision, I had a goal to see me do this with my daughter and my not older sister, she's one of my younger sisters. But I was so excited that I did that. But I will tell you, it was a one and done for me, but I did it. So yay. But so you're absolutely right about having that vision of, and a reason. I always talk about the bride in the wedding dress, right? She's in the gym no matter what, because she sees herself since she's a little girl walking down the aisle in that gorgeous dress and everyone's reaction. And she's going to cut off a leg if she has to get into it. She's going to make it happen. Like, she has that kind of ambition. So I get having that vision, that drive, because everything else seems to start moving right out of the way. It's like parting of the Red Sea.
It's so true. I actually have a client now that she is prepping for her wedding, and she's like, she is so determined. Whenever we get like one-on-one sessions, she's like, all right, let's go. And she was like, she did tell me this the other day. She's like, I'm so glad I hired you, because I wouldn't be doing this by myself. So that's why it is good to have, like, that coach or an accountability person, because regardless of that goal, again, like, you're probably going to need help. You can't do it all by yourself.
I promise you're going to need help.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm a firm believer that you have every single thing you need in you to do whatever it is you want to do, including get a coach. Just to keep you from getting hurt, right? To keep you accountable, to keep you understanding, like, why am I stuck for 9 weeks? Like, you knew, and you have a coach, and they're like, you're not stuck. This is where we're going, right? It's like you said, it's not a linear path. So definitely you can get a coach to help you with that. Brittinie, what are 3 quick tips in this segment that we can use right now? I know I have you on the spot, and you kind of recap some of the things you've already said, because those are great. But 3 tips that we can take from this segment to get us from where we're at right now and moving forward.
Oh man, trust the process. First and foremost, oh my gosh, tongue twist. Trust the process, because, well, actually what I should say is get a coach. Because get a coach, because that person obviously is going to have experience. The reason why you're reaching out to someone is because you want their expertise, and they're going to get you where you want to go. You just have to, second, trust the process, right? So hire a coach, trust the process, and just keep envisioning. Like, when you don't feel like doing something, just go and do it. You know how many times I don't want to go running or don't want to do cardio? Like, I just pop in my headphones, I put on some, rap, hip hop music, and I just go, I just zone out. And then obviously I feel so much better afterwards. But sometimes you just need to not think and just do. Because that Atomic Habits book that I was telling you about, he said this quote that kind of resonated with me. He said, professionals will get it done. Amateurs will let life get to them.
Wow, that is a great quote. That is a really good quote. So when she's telling you to get a coach, literally get a coach. And here's why. You're going to get there faster. Any bumps you hit there, that's their zone of genius. And all you need is that coach long enough to get those new habits in place, and for it to become that comfortable space where you can finally say, I got this. I can take the wheel. I got this. Some of you have bigger goals, like training for a competition, or like me running 26 miles. Then you might need one for longer, but for sure, get a coach long enough, which is what, 13 weeks, maybe 3 months.
Yeah, honestly, like some of my clients, and that's always my goal too, is my goal is to never, don't get me wrong, like I would love for, clients to stay with me forever. Like, yeah, okay. Like, as, a business person, like, of course I want them to stay with me. But my goal is to set them up to, like you just said, is so they can do it on their own. And some clients have really good success after 6 weeks. And then some do take a little bit more, like, 12 to 16, but habits aren't going to be developed overnight. And that's why having that coach, like you said, like, this is our expertise. Like, I will tell you, like, no, this is what we should do instead. Or, I have this one client, her eating habits are not the best. And, she gets very discouraged. I'm like, you have to realize, like, sometimes that coach is going to give you that hard truth too. So you're not blindly looking, thinking that you're not moving forward, or, like, sometimes you need that, hard truth. And that's what a coach will give you.
Now, I had some of that. I remember crying in the car, like, she hates me. But yes, I still went back though, because I paid her. So I'm going back to take the abuse. But honestly, it was abuse of love. She just told me, she put the mirror up at my face, which all coaches should be doing, is putting that mirror in front of your face and letting you make those choices to create better habits. Brittinie, thank you so much for this series. I cannot wait to the next one. If you guys didn't catch the first one, it's already out, so you can go get it and get all caught up. You guys can find all of Brittinie's information, including her free offer, in the show notes and where to find her. And this girl is going places. I'm telling you, she is amazing. I've been stalking her on social media. So that's me in the trench coat and the disguise following you around. So thank you so much for doing this series with us.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast. Make sure to visit Jana's website, bestholisticlife.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, or listen there, so you'll never miss an episode. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you simply tell a friend about the show, that'll help too. Let's change the world together, one health expert at a time. Looking forward to seeing you next time.